How are we doing this morning, party people? 6 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, game day for us Manchester United fans. Red Devils head to the turf more to take on Burnley this afternoon. But before we get into any of that, welcome, excuse me, it's early. Welcome to the 3D. 3D! And thank you so much for joining me wherever yous may be. Okay, y'all. So I'm sure by now you've all heard the news. If not, news broke early Monday morning. Ruben Amorim has been sacked by Manchester United hierarchy with immediate effect. This news, of course, stems from the press conference Amorim had after Sunday's 1-1 draw at Ellen Road. Completely and obviously upset, frustrated, you name it. He said verbatim, I did not come to Manchester United to be coach. I came to Manchester United to be manager. Essentially calling out all of said hierarchy, all of club management, calling them out. Point blank, period. It's safe to say Ruben Amorim's time at Manchester United on the pitch was, a disaster, an utter failure. Worst win percentage of any manager for Manchester United in Premier League history. 38.1% win percentage. 65 games in charge, 24 wins, 18 draws, 21 defeats. During that 65-game span, United conceded 114 goals while scoring 122. Okay, so before we go any further, let's jump into our Wayback Machines, okay? And we're going to travel back to May of 2024. Erik ten Hag, the then manager of United, beats Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in the FA Cup final. After a terrible finish in the league, Ineos decided that the FA Cup win was enough to retain Erik ten Hag. They even backed him in the summer transfer window. They brought in Mason Mount, Lenny Euro, Matthias de Ligt, all making the summer moves to Old Trafford. Now, a dreadful start to the season from Erik ten Hag. Club management forced to sack. Now, behind the scenes, there's a newly appointed director of football, Dan Ashworth. Ashworth was vocally concerned over the timing of the Ten Hag departure combined with the timing of the arrival of Ruben Amorim. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Omar Berrada, they felt different. Therefore, they flew to Portugal, give Amorim the it's now or never spiel, which, it tipped Amorim's hand. And I mean, for Pete's sake, a chance to manage Manchester United? Yes, please. Meanwhile, Dan Ashworth, who didn't have a problem with Amorim per se, the problem Ashworth was expressing was, hello, we're hiring a manager who is so particular to a system. He is so married to said system, the back three. Ashworth, who wasn't even at the club 6 months at this time, he vocalized his concerns, though bringing in a new manager, or he thought bringing in a new manager with a specific system in the middle of the season with a squad full of inept players who, like I put it bluntly, they aren't suited to play that way. And because of this, because of speaking up, it's going to start to sound familiar, because he spoke up and he was trying to do the job he was hired to do, Sir Jim Ratcliffe sacks Dan Ashworth only because he disagreed with the direction Ineos wanted to take the club. Now, before I keep going into this, I know it's a lot, but just stick with me because this is the revolving cycle here at Manchester United, the coaching carousel, if you will. Now, Ashworth is out. Ruben Amorim is in. January transfer window comes, not even 2 months after Amorim is appointed manager. And he's gifted only Patrick Dorgu, young, raw, talented left wing back. Amorim was still able to, believe it or not, he was still able to get the worst Man United squad, the worst Man United season ever to the Europa League final, where they ultimately lose to Tottenham Hotspur. Another piss poor performance, which for me, in my eyes, started to put in motion said current events. Now, we were embarrassed by Tottenham, who weren't even a good team. I mean, we saw Spurs fire on just weeks after winning the FA Cup, or excuse me, just weeks after winning the Europa League. United didn't take advantage. Champions League was there. Who knows what other signings would have come with the money that United would have got for qualifying for Champions League, because you would have had to have bolstered the squad, right? Anyways, now remember that way back machine we were in. Okay, sweet. Let's get back in it. We're gonna fast forward to the summer of summer of 2025. Rashford, Garnacho, not rated by Amorim. They're gone. Højlund didn't have what it took from the jump to be a Manchester United striker. He's off to Napoli. Ineos and the United board, they back Amorim in the window this summer. I mean, look, guys, he's gifted Matheus Cunha, Brazilian winger from Wolves, Brian Mbumo, Cameroonian forward from Brentford, Benjamin Šeško, from RB Leipzig, the young Slovenian. 200 million on a new front line, basically, okay? And eventually, 23-year-old Belgian goalkeeper Sine Lemons comes over to join the squad and ultimately replacing the dreadful, and I mean dreadful, Andre Onana. But believe it or not, friction was brewing behind the scenes. I know, it's shocking. Amorim vocally expressed he wanted an experienced Premier League experienced players in two key positions. His choice at striker was Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, PL proven, England international, and at goalkeeper, he wanted World Cup winner Emi Martinez, who was, believe it or not, at Aston Villa as well. I mean, heck, Emi Martinez, he fancied the move. All he was doing was waiting on the final word. Agents were set in place. He was ready to move over to Old Trafford, get ready at Carrington as soon as possible. But the head of recruitment for United, an admirer of Benjamin Šeško from his time in Germany. So Vivel decided on the Slovenian striker over Watkins and the young Belgian goalkeeper over the experienced, proven winner leader, Emi Martinez. Amorim, no choice but to live to fight another day. Sorry about that, guys. Dealing with a little scratchy throat here this morning. Okay, so full summer, full off season of system, philosophy implantation, getting to know the coach better, the coach getting to know the boys better, getting to know the staff better. Hell, even had a decent preseason over here in America. Season starts, and shocking, poor results right off the bat, highlighted by a defeat in the EFL Cup at the hands of Grimsby Town. I'll say it again, Grimsby Town. United had to come back and force penalty kicks, but ended up losing to Grimsby Town and, essentially knocked out of the Carabao Cup early on in the season. As weeks and months go into the season, United constantly dropping points, mainly at home to bottom-level teams in the league, which brings us now to present day. United currently sitting 6th place in the Premier League table. Well, more like resting. Remember all those drop points at home? Yeah, there's no telling where this squad would be right now had those results been any different. Now, Ineos, since the firing of Dan Ashworth, they promoted Jason Wilcox to director of football. In the recent weeks, Wilcox himself, he's become frustrated with Amorim's marriage to his back three. Okay? That formation, those three back defenders. We saw against Newcastle, Amorim changed to a back four, and the team excelled very well. They beat the Magpies away. I said during last week's 3D that it was very refreshing to see the squad play that day because, yes, many players were out. Lots of kids coming on, lots of couple returns to the pitch. Lissandro Martinez starting, the one that really jumps off the page. But the team played for the manager. They played for the badge. It was very, very, very refreshing, like I said, to see. Okay, after the Newcastle game, the worst team in the league comes to Old Trafford, Wolverhampton. Amorim reverts back to the back three, which results in more dropped points. Game finished with a 1-1 draw at home. Sound familiar? Remember what I said earlier? All of these drop points at home just continue to pile up. But remember, 8 players out to, whether it's injury or AFCON, those are all 8 first teamers. So it's already kind of a tough pill for Amorim to swallow. Now, here's where things get cooking. Days leading up to the Leeds game, Amorim and Wilcox came to verbal blows regarding Amorim's inability to adapt despite the clear and awful results that are happening on the pitch. But he stated, he as in Wilcox, stated that he's willing to figure out a way to work through this while keeping Ruben Amorim. Ruben says, "No, I want to talk to my agent. I don't want to be here anymore." So we're gonna follow another awful performance at Ellen Road. Ruben Amorim, he spilt his guts. The famous, "I came to Manchester United to be manager, not coach. I will not quit. I will do my job for 18 more months until the next guy comes in," end quote. We saw what happened to Dan Ashworth when he questioned the competence of Ineos and Sir Jim. Amorim met the same fate Monday morning. Sacked Darren Fletcher to take over on interim basis. Now, real quick, finished the season last year at an awful 15th place, worst finish in the Premier League ever for Manchester United in a long time. This year, United have comfortably been in the top 6 for many weeks. So you can say there's, you can't say that the squad hasn't improved, at all. Top tier team in the league in chances created, top tier team in the league in goals scored. So there have been improvements. You can't say that there hasn't. But when the manager and the coach are having frictions with the back office, just like every other manager and coach for United since the retirement of Sir Alex Ferguson, it just spells a recipe for disaster. But there's still questions that remain. Was Dan Ashworth right on his assessment, and Ineos couldn't handle being wrong? I mean, let's think about it. As I said before, you bring in a manager mid-season married to a system that one player on the current, not one player on the current squad is suited for. It is a recipe for disaster. And that's not on that. That is not on Ruben Amorim. Ruben wanted reinforcements this January, was told, not going to happen. So it with all of that, being said in a little tiny nutshell, Ruben Amorim was sold a bill of goods from Ineos, and quite simply, they did not deliver. Does Ruben Amorim deserve blame? Sure, absolutely. Where the hell do we start? Play Bruno at a deeper position in the midfield when he's best suited as an attacking number 10. Pissed away Kobe Mainoo's season this year, maybe pissed away his World Cup dream for this summer. Played players out of position almost every single game. Look, it just wasn't working. But again, at some point, the United hierarchy, they are going to have to start looking at themselves in the mirror. Whether it's Sir Jim, whether it's Omar Barada, whether it's the freaking Glazers, somebody maybe take a little responsibility. Because damn it, here we go again. The coaching carousel at Manchester United keeps going round and freaking round. 13 managers since the retirement of Sir Alex. United fans are pissed, and who can blame them? Who can blame them? As soon as the feeling of we're back sinks in for just a second, it takes 3 steps immediately backwards. I mean, it's imminent. Taking over on the interim basis, like I said, will be a former player and current U18 coach, Darren Fletcher. Massive rumblings behind the scenes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and or Michael Carrick coming in as caretaker until the end of the season. That's when United will start the search for a permanent manager. Look, as long as it's clear this is only until May, I'm fine with Ole. I want Ole to come in because we saw the resurgence the squad had hit for him and that massive run we went on when they were allowed to play free football, free-flowing attacking soccer. Hell, Ole, I mean, we win the Champions League the next year, guys, okay? So, you know, he loves the club. He knows the DNA. And like I said, he plays attacking football. Manchester United, obviously, once again, have Burnley in the Premier League this afternoon. Burnley, another bottom table team who seem to dance on promotion relegation stage quite often in the recent years. Good news for United fans. Bruno back in the squad after he has been out with a hamstring. He is back in the squad, ready to play. But, of course, he will have minute restrictions just to ensure no further damage is done to that injured hamstring. Look, guys, it's another new day at Manchester United. And the only thing that's for sure about Manchester United is nothing's for sure. But stick with it. I don't know what this managerial search is going to contain. I mean, we've already heard some names. You know, you got your top stars. You know, your De Zerbis, your Ancelottis, your Pochettinos. You know that Tuchel. Few of those won't be available until after the World Cup in the summer. Or you got your Oliver Glasner from Crystal Palace. Eddie Howe, for some reason, mentioned in his press conference, he's not leaving. Well, Eddie, I don't. With all due respect, pal, I don't think you would have been considered. But it's going to be an interesting summer, that's for sure. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I know that was a lot to take in, but look, it's the reality for Manchester United. I'm hoping for incredible things to come. I sit back and think I can't really think of anyone who would want to come into this club, especially a young, hungry manager like Ruben Amorim, and have their legacy tarnished. Something has to change. Something has to change. Look, guys, thank you so much for listening. My name was Drew Dickinson. Well, not my name was. My name is Drew Dickinson. This was the 3D, the Drew Dickinson Diatribe. Be sure to subscribe to Soccer Down Here wherever you get your podcasts. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss any of the action. I hope you guys have a wonderful hump day. We will talk to you at the end of the week. FA Cup on Sunday. Brighton come to Old Trafford. May or may not have a 3D before that game. Have a great one, guys. We'll talk soon. Drewski. Ow. Great dick.